Everybody, and welcome to EPR Part 2 of Season 1. We are back after a week's break, which we had quite a lot of fun, to be honest. Obviously it wasn't broadcasted, so you guys did not see. Honestly, we regret that so much. Anyways, so on to this weekend. We are at Singapore, and I'm here with Catelyn Minty to go through it.
Hello there.
So, like I said, we are at Singapore this week, and there are 31 laps around the circuit. Probably the longest circuit on the calendar in terms of how long it should take us to do the race. So hopefully we can get things done swiftly and quickly, because also we have qualifying for the US Grand Prix. Some have their concerns. They have told us their concerns, but to be honest with you, we should only really miss maybe half of Q1 or just Q1 overall. I don't think there should be an issue really with us and that. So that's just clearing that out of the way. Anyway, so the circuit length around Singapore is 5.063 kilometers and the race length is 154.3 kilometers. It has 24 tight corners with 13 to the left and 10 to the right. And there are 60 gear changes on average around this circuit. There will be 2 DRS zones, and the race lap record is a 1 minute 42.301, which I expect most drivers, in fact probably all drivers, to beat that. And the lap record around here is a 1 minute 217, which once again I expect rather majority of drivers to beat that. It was first held in 2008, which of course I'm not sure who won that year, but it was a decent race, and it's always brought controversy, hasn't it, Singapore?
It has.
I mean, from what happened in 2008 with the Renaults, and obviously to the controversy, just the weather. The weather could be unpredictable, the amount of safety cars we get here. Obviously the F1 game is not very good at knowing when a safety car is supposed to come out, but we have seen virtual safety cars and it has changed the grid up a lot sometimes. If we go back to Germany with Imad, at one point he was maybe on for a podium and then he ended up winning the race, the second race of his EPR career, which obviously he's the only driver to win 2 races this season so far, so that's pretty good.
It is. Going back to the controversies, I remember there was like Mark Webber and over the Anderson Bridge.
Yeah.
He lost like electronics or something.
Then you mean under the Anderson Bridge?
Under, yeah. I can't,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah. So on to the standings then. If people are not aware, Superguy is leading the championship right now by 5 points over Gavin, who was supposed to join us. He may still join us, but unfortunately due to internet issues at this current point, we might struggle to get him. Imad is in 3rd place, 7 points behind Superguy, and this is what we were on about. There are 6 drivers who can actually take the lead of the championship. That includes TTGD Warren, DRT Midnight, Plix 6, Imad, Gavin, and of course your championship leader himself, Superguy. With Superguy possibly the most likely to retain that, but just don't put it off for anyone else to take over, because Singapore, such a tight circuit and everything, such difficult corners, it's so easy to hit the barrier here and make mistakes. Would you expect any drivers to do so today?
Yeah, of course. There's gonna be probably a lot of battling happening. I have a feeling, well, I think one of the top 6 won't crash out, but when they're battling they will lose a front wing or 2, in my opinion. Of course, lower down the grid, skill isn't that high, no offense to anyone there. I think they're the ones that are more likely to hit the wall.
Who knows? A circuit like this and everything, a lot of the people who maybe not as, fast as the leaders right now, they're going to be probably a little more cautious, and that cautious, this is probably a circuit where you could probably apply that slow and steady wins the race sort of aspect. Obviously maybe not slow, but if you're steady you win the race. Technically it comes into fruition into this circuit more than any circuit on the calendar. obviously we've got Monaco on the real life calendar, but we don't have Monaco. But it's probably one of those circuits where really you could probably see a surprise winner.
Yeah, it is. Of first, the top guys, I know Dylan has been ramming on about how great he
Oh,
is at this
he
circuit.
won't. He will not shut up, honestly. If you guys were in the chats, if you guys have seen any sort of post that Dylan's put about Singapore, he will ramble on and on and on and on about it. Because he's 11th in the world around Singapore currently, with a 1 minute 33.556. This is on time trial, by the way. There are only some of the bigger esports names in front of him, and basically he's absolutely dominant against everyone else. Midnight is the second fastest, and he's like 6 tenths slower than Dylan. So that is a huge, massive gap between them. And even more than that, Chapalele is the third fastest, and he's in a 1 minute 34 freeze. So that's almost a second slower than Dylan alone. Do you think Dylan could potentially be the one to get the hat trick?
I have a
week?
feeling he'll push it too hard.
Oh,
That's just my feeling, because he's been talking about it the whole day, so I think he might get too cocky and bin it maybe.
Time trial is basically like a one lap thing, isn't it? You set that lap time, you're fine. You've done that lap, and it's on to the next. I'm not sure about Dylan's consistency. He's very, very quick, but his consistency. Finally, Gavin has arrived, everybody. As you can
Oh my god.
As you can probably tell by that yes sound. Finally, he's got his internet sorted. So, Gavin, you come into this weekend with a chance to be leading the championship. Do you think that is going to happen?
Nah, I don't know. It's not my favorite track, Singapore. I'm not really good at it. Yeah, I'm not sure about it, so...
Well, Dylan, obviously, we know is probably just... He goes on and on and on, and you can back us up on that, can't you?
Yeah, he's a really different drive, because sometimes he bowler a race, and then he just drive amazingly, so... I'm not sure.
You obviously race on wheel, Gavin, so
Yeah.
around Singapore... What is it like driving on a wheel around Singapore compared to other circuits, perhaps?
Nah, I think it's just normally like all the other tracks.
You're just so used and familiar to wheel, you don't realise how difficult it really is to drive around that circuit, maybe on pad or wheel.
Yeah.
So have you got any personal predictions for yourself? Like, where do you think you'll end up today?
Hopefully podium, I think P3.
That's nice to hear. You haven't got many podiums, have you? But you're still in that title race. Massive figure in that title race, aren't you? Still second, and obviously you are the person who has fans behind you, which is amazing to see. And we just unofficially have called them the Gavin Gang. Yeah. So. Hopefully they are here today to cheer you on again. They should be here to cheer you on again, to be honest. Because it is a circuit that provides a little bit of surprise. Not saying that obviously you winning would be a shock, because we're currently second in the championship, but it provides surprise, doesn't it, Singapore? And circuits like that.
Yeah, I asked them if they're gonna watch the race. But if I win that race, it will be my first race in this league, so it will be a surprise for me and I think for the league itself.
Question that I want to ask from the start of the season, really. At the start of the season, where did you really see yourself when you saw some of the names in this league? Like, whereabouts would you have seen yourself at the start?
More like a midfield driver.
It's just consistency, isn't it? Your consistency has really brought you along to where you are at currently, and it's really helped you along. It's kind of similar to Imadi, but the thing is, Imadi doesn't really show too much of the consistency, and right now, despite his win in Germany, he really has been off the pace, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think because let me just say something back about which driver I will be at the start of the league. When I just finished fourth at my first league race on this league, I was just so happy but so angry at the same time because I just missed a podium like 48 thousandths. But I was so happy for my first.
That was staggeringly close. And obviously, if you got that podium, you would have got 50 points. That would have put you only 3 points behind Super Guy. We also have Jack here, Nimble Ripper, not Midnight, but we do have Nimble Ripper here as well. Well, he has not got a point so far, but he's only, I believe, participated in only one race so far. Do you think you'll get points today?
Yeah.
Where do you plan on finishing, realistically?
Well, I had a look at the timings, and I'm 2/10 behind Gavin, so hopefully around 7th.
That's a good. What about you then, Gavin? Because I don't believe I asked you what you are looking. Have I asked you where you want to be around this track?
Which position?
Yeah, where would you roughly want to be?
Yeah, hopefully on podium with MP3.
That's ambitious, but then again, you're going for a championship. You had to be gutsy like that.
Yeah.
So, this is a question for both of you. Starting off with Jack.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Starting off with Nimble. Who is your main rivals for the second half of the season?
Well, I mean, I'm either gonna say, it could be several people. You know, it could be X-Dan, it could be Billy, it could be Gavin.
It could be Gavin, that is correct, despite Gavin being miles ahead of you in the championship.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
but I think maybe...
In terms of how your season could go for the second half...
I think maybe Billy. I think right now he's close to me.
He hasn't picked up points since the second race of the season in Austria due to some unlucky misfortune.
I'm only going off one race, so the pace he had in Monza.
Oh, so you were similar in Monza. That's
yeah.
Any other names that you probably would say, like Cohen or Mikey or Leon, perhaps? Maybe even Wario, who's got 4 points there. Is there any names?
Honestly, I've got no idea who they are.
You've not really been focusing, have you, that much?
No, I just, focus on food and...
Food. I asked Gavin the same question. It probably won't be very good, but if you started the season, if you started the season with us and you take the current driver lineup, where would you roughly see yourself currently, and how many points would you say you would have picked up?
Where would I aim, or where would I...
Where would you be currently going into season 2 if you had started the season? Where would you have wanted to be?
Well, I would want to be 7th, top of the midfield.
Around 7th, that's pretty decent. And right now that is top of the midfield, so you're bang on with where you want to reach. You said you can't reach for the stars.
I think the highest I can get now is 8th.
Actually no, you could actually still technically win the championship, but the thing is though, everyone would literally have to just leave and just not race at all.
Well, we need a hero.
17 multiplied by 6, has anybody got a calculator?
17 multiplied by 6?
Yeah, so we can find the maximum points that you can get. I think it's 90 something now, so...
17 multiplied by 102.
102 points are... 102 points are, available left, so that's the maximum points you could get, Nimble, now. And that also goes to anyone else on 0 points.
I mean, if I aim for 7th every race, it's not a bad aim.
No, it isn't at all. I mean, you would have been on point to beat Billy if you got 7th every race. Obviously not saying Billy might not, because Billy he could just suddenly come out of nowhere, couldn't he? You never know with some
I think
drivers.
other than Billy, it's probably X-Dan, my teammate.
Yeah.
He's showing good pace.
Stan is, of course, he was the inaugural champion in another league, so he's been on the top 7 before.
The EPL.
Yes, that is correct.
How did I get that?
Anyway, so if some people weren't aware, we do have 2 new drivers in who should debut today. That would be excuse me if I pronounced it wrong. Wolbieg and Messi 15101. Messi has raced here before. He raced in China, but unofficially as he was a reserve. On to the predictions now. So first of all, we're going to go through my predictions. First of all, getting pole is an obvious one, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean,
It's
whoever
me,
might
of course.
that- No,
That's a joke.
It's not you who's getting it. It's got to be Dylan. There is no
It has to be.
other person who I would expect to get it, because there are 6 attempts between him and Midnight, and that's just crazy, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's
There's no
just.
way. I can't see anyone else matching him in qualifying, unless, of course, he hits the barrier and is out of the qualifying. Right, so my podium, actually no, let's go through your poll lap actually. Who do you think's getting pole?
Dylan. That is the obvious one.
Shocker. But is there any other names who you think could surprise us maybe, or if Dylan maybe ends up hitting the barrier?
Sapper, Midnight, of course, are the top 3 lads.
I think Tim, let's not count out Tim here. I mean, he hasn't really had the last couple of races to himself. A lot of the last couple of races have been poor from him, but if he shows up and if he has been hiding something, he could potentially surprise Dylan. Who knows?
You never know, he could be doing his practice in quick race instead of time trial, which I know some people do.
Yeah. So, on to your podium then. So, my podium first. Actually, I keep saying your first, but that's not helpful at all. So, my podium. I don't think Dylan's winning. I don't think he's winning, you know. I think it will be Midnight. I think Dylan. He'll finish second, but I think he'll hit something. He'll hit the barrier or something, and it will cause him to have wing damage. I think Midnight will be all clean. He'll be clean. He'll have a great race and everything. In terms of third place, I am so stuck who should finish third. I want to say Chapelele, but if I say Chapelele, the same thing will happen again and again and again and again and again. I say he will win the race second or third, and he ends up crashing out. So instead of saying that he's going to do well, I'm going to say that he's just going to be off the podium this time. I think.
So some reverse psychology there.
I think it's going to be between Gavin, Wolbieg, and potentially you or Nimble, perhaps.
Me.
It's going to be a great battle for that. I feel like Dylan will finish second. Chapelele, I'm still about. And like I said, Tim as well has got a good chance of finishing on the podium as well. Don't count him out, but I think he's going to go a similar way to what Dylan is. What I think Dylan's going to go. And that's he's going to hit the barrier, or something's going to happen to him, and he's going to have to come in for a pit stop and change his wing and everything. So, really, my podium is, I think Midnight's winning it, Dylan second, and I'm going to go Tim third. I'm going to change my mind.
Okay. Interesting
Right,
predictions.
Who's your podium then?
They said it could be Dylan, but if I see Dylan here, I think he won't get the fastest lap. Cause I don't think he will get the hat trick.
No.
So I think maybe for first position, I think we could get. I think it's the first time winner, Tim.
That'll make it 6 out of 7 race winners. Jesus.
Because I'm a
That's-
D, of course.
He's the only one who's got 2, so currently we've got 5 winners, but we could have 6 and 7? Are you really thinking that?
Yeah. Very weird
Who's
predictions. Wouldn't that be like 2015? I remember it was like 6 podiums. Like there were 6 drivers on the podium and 6 different teams or something like that.
Something like that, I'm not sure. But who you got for second?
For a second, I'd put in. I don't want to jinx it. Shap.
I think Chapelele has definitely got a great chance to win this race, just like most races, but you know, you just don't know, do you, anymore? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
for
nice. It's nice. Yeah, go on, carry on. Sorry about that.
sorry, for P3, I think it's gonna be Dylan.
You really do think he's still going to be on the podium? What's going to happen to him? How's he going to only get?
He'll be in the lead, yeah, but then he'll have to pit for front wing change. And he's gonna do a 2-stop instead of a 1-stop because I know the strategy is medium hards.
Yeah.
And I think he'll just have a lot of speed on those tires, and he will get P3.
Yeah. So just before we get onto our fastest lap, a couple drivers have done wet times on Singapore. The fastest is Dylan, who is in a 154.097. Second place is Chapelele, who's got a 155.323. So Dylan is absolutely stonking everyone if it's Singapore wet anyway, unless Gavin or anyone else has anything to say about it. Catname Minty, which is you, obviously, is a 155.6. So you're technically the third fastest on the wets currently, going by time. And then I believe Tim is the other one who set the lap time, and no one else has set lap times. But it's good to see that some drivers have considered that we could have a wet qualifying. And
Hopefully
maybe
we do.
Wet race. If we have a wet qualifying, then it might take a lot of people by storm.
No, I hope we have a wet race.
Right, so on to my fastest lap point. It's gonna be Dylan.
So
don't
he's
think
not
he's
gonna
gonna
get
win.
the hat trick, but
He's not going to get the hat trick, but he will most definitely get the fastest lap on pole position. I just can't see anyone else beating his lap times. His lap times have been absolutely amazing. I can't see anyone doing anything else in that sort of sense. Anyway, so who's yours? Who's your fastest lap?
it's a shocker. He like my P2. The person in P2, Chapelele.
Chapelele. Alright.
Yeah. I also think you'll get a 2-stop
Yeah.
for some reason. Maybe a broken front wing, as I said that.
Maybe
But I
try
think
soft,
he would-
perhaps.
Soft
Surprise.
mediums. I know the softs go off like really early,
Yeah.
so that's why I don't think people will do that strategy. But Chapelele, I think he will also go for a 2-stop like Dylan, but again by mistake. But he'll get hit later in the race, and Dylan will get traffic, so he'll jump Dylan. Very confusing, but that is what I think will happen.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna finish the podcast here because
It has been a long one.
Well, it's probably been like the longest one ever. It's probably been also quite awkward. Anyway, so we're gonna leave it off there. I was your host, Sam, and I've been here with Minty and also Gavin and Jack. If they're still here, I'm not sure if they are. Anyway, so we are Jesus.
We haven't done this for 2 weeks.
No, we haven't done this for 2 weeks, and I've lost everything. We'll see you tonight in Singapore. Goodbye.